Hey, what's up everyone? Epic here. I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on Hagane for the Super Nintendo slash Super Famicom. Um, but before I get into the actual game, I just want to mention a couple things. You can reconfigure your buttons. Go to config. So if you don't like the default scheme, you can always mess around with that. And then something I would like to mention, uh, like during level transitions, you can actually mash to speed them up. So I'll give you an example here. If I hit start, you'll see that this starting animation is actually very, very slow. It takes, I don't know how long, maybe like 7 or 8 seconds. And then the game will actually start up. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You can mash those. I usually do, YB like this. You also notice that I have my input display up, so if there's anything that's kind of confusing, you're not really sure which button I'm pressing, just keep that in mind. So yeah, before I actually get into the start of the run, I want to just kind of go over like the basics of your movement and mechanics like that. So you have your attacks and your jump, Y and B respectively. You actually have several different weapons. You can cycle through them using X. That'll cycle to the right, and select will cycle to the left. So you have a sword, which is going to be used throughout the majority of the run. And then to the right, you have a kunai, like a throwing knife. See my ammo going down. Ammo's not really ever an issue, except for this one here. The bomb in the top right. And you'll notice if I push A, like it does like this really ridiculous flash. That's me using the bomb. It's going to be used in quite a few places, so you don't want to accidentally press that. Yeah, going back to the main weapons, next to the kunai you have like this grenade. And then to the right of that you have like this chain, which acts as a grapple in some occasions, that I'll be showing you later. And, so yeah, depending on which way you're facing now, you can do like a backflip if you hit L or R. And that's going to be very useful throughout the run because the majority of the animation is actually makes Hagane invincible, so it's very useful. And then if you push R, you have like this forward tumble. And you'll notice if I hold R, I kind of like do like this. I start flashing. It's like charging up. So every time you charge up like that, you can actually expand like your attacks. So if I do like a forward flip and I punch, you'll get like this kind of dragon punch thing. And then if I do like, if I hit jump while I do it, I'll do a kick. Now if I charge one time, I'll get a kick like this kind of roundhouse. Not really roundhouse, like this flip kick. And then if I do the same thing, but I jump, I'll get like this flaming kick. You can actually charge it a second time, and you'll notice here, I'll start flashing yellow. And if I punch while I do that, I'll get like this downward like dragon stab thing. But the most important one is if I do a kick during that, because this up kick, oh, I ran out of time. And now I'm not going to have music. That's fine. So if I do the double tumble and I do this kick, that up kick actually does 25 damage, which is just ridiculous. And it's going to basically be a boss killer throughout the entire run. So yeah. Other than that, you have a slide that you can do. Just holding down and jump. And then you have like this air tumble. If you double tap jump, you'll tumble, I don't know, maybe like 3/4 of the screen. You can also stop it early if you need to. And then another thing is a down kick. Down kick like this. Basically jump and then hold down. And that's actually going to be useful in a few spots. Because if you down kick, you can actually like bounce off enemies and it actually does damage. The damage isn't significant, so it's not going to be useful in that aspect, but you can actually gain height when you do the bounce. So if I down kick this and I hold it, I continue to hold it, I'll get a really high bounce, and it's going to be useful for some skips and things later on. So yeah, the very start of this run is very important. I'm just going to pause here. So basically, the very first level, I'm going to be manipulating the RNG to get specific drops. Because if you notice in the right, my bomb count right now is 1 in the top right corner. I think I leave this area with 4 bombs. And then I will be getting a blue flame drop, which increases your health. You can have a max of 5 health. So, and you do a lot of damage boost, so picking up this very first blue flame that I'll be manipulating the RNG for is very important. So yeah, I'll try to explain exactly what I'm doing and how to set that up. It can be kind of finicky, and sometimes like the RNG will get like the way it loops will get stuck, like, and you have to like do a hard reset to reset it. So keep that in mind. I've done runs when I'm kind of like doing the exact same thing, but the RNG isn't working right, so I'll just have to hard reset. So I'll actually do that now. I'm using a game saver to obviously make showing things a little bit easier. So yeah, I'll go ahead and start showing you the RNG manipulation, and then from there on, just go throughout the rest of the game. Yeah, go ahead and mash screen transitions. I'm gonna make this state here in case I mess it up. What I do is I slide it all the way to the right, and then just stay in this bottom right corner. And you'll notice these yellow guys drop. I believe it's the 4th and final guy. Once his 3rd bullet goes over your head, that's when you want to go ahead and hold R and start backflipping here. You want to keep going basically until the end of the screen, and then stop once you get there. And then once the screen stops scrolling, I'll backflip back to the left to set up the way the ship comes in. So there, I'm gonna redo this part a few different times. So there, you'll see my health increased to 4. I got a blue flame drop. That's the very first part of the manipulation. I was hoping I would be able to like point things out on Amarek, but because I'm doing like a direct video grab, then I'm not going to actually be able to show that with my mouse pointer. So go ahead and start flipping. And all you got to do is just hold R if you're using the default scheme. So go ahead and save here so I don't have to keep doing this part. And the way to get this blue flame to drop is you'll see the ship drop these blue bombs. Once the second blue bomb hits the ground, that's when you want to kill this first guy, so there. And I didn't kill him fast enough because I had my grapple out, so. I have my sword equipped this time. So boom, I get the blue flame drop. And then you just kind of want to avoid stuff until everything is off the screen, and that's when you want to kill that guy there. So once all the ship is off the screen and all of the other like bullets and stuff are off the screen, the guy will start moving to the left, and you want to kill him once everything is off the screen, and you'll get your first bomb drop. Go ahead and unpause. And see those? Oh, okay. So these two turrets just shot, and this guy is jumping out. Once you see the leftmost turret start to charge up again, that's when you want to kill this first yellow guy that's dropping out, and you'll get your second bomb drop. So kill him there. You see I get the bomb there. And then I'll just kind of avoid things until you see this third yellow guy drop down from the ship. And once that happens, you're waiting for this this thing that drops the bombs. You're going to wait for that very first bomb for it to drop. And once that drops, you want to kill him and you'll get your final bomb. And then after that, you just want to try to survive, kill enemies, maybe get another bomb. Because at this point, the RNG is not really more manipulatable. So at that point, you should have your 4 health and 4 bombs. And if you don't, you're probably going to want to reset. I mean, there are extra bombs you can pick up that are going to waste a little bit of time, but you just kind of want to get that RNG down. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do that one more time. Drop. Blue flame. Everything's off the screen. Get my first bomb. Slide to the right. That's charging. Kill him. First blue bomb there. Get your final bomb. Kill enemies to kind of reduce lag. Mash screen transitions. Now for this part, this stage is pretty straightforward. There's a couple different ways you can start out. You can basically hold right, and once you land, you want to start backflipping. And then you'll see like these little armadillo guys, they can jump at you like that, and if they do that, occasionally they can hit you, and it'll waste like, I don't know, maybe half a second. So for the first one, you should get through perfectly fine, but the second and third ones, you can opt to like slide through them. So I'll do that here, just in case they happen to do it. See, there I took damage. That's gonna waste a little bit of time, and then yeah, just keep going until you get here. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this part. Go ahead and show those off. I meant to slide through that one. I guess I'll show like the simple way. So you can basically just flip all the way here and then just do like these wall bounces. So if you're doing this tumble and you hit a wall, you'll bounce off of it. So all you have to do here is basically double tap A and you'll keep bouncing until you land on the top. That's one way to do it. The way I do it is if you're doing a full tumble like this and you're holding down at the end, you'll do like this auto down kick. So what I do throughout a lot of the run is I kind of make visual cues on when I need to like get this auto down kick. That way I don't have to release both buttons, do the down kick, and then repress both of them. Because sometimes it can be a little tough, you know, to get the full bounce height that you're trying to get. So what I'll do is I'll make these visual cues to get me like the auto down kick, basically, is what I call it. So my cue here is this wood pillar in the background. I'll start my tumble there, and then there will be a guy here that I can bounce off of. I'll go ahead and demonstrate how I do that. Auto down kick, and then I'll bounce off the left wall to get up here. I think it's a little bit faster if you do it that way. This is the first mini boss. I'll go ahead and just try to fight him normally, just to kind of show you, like, this is like how slow it would be normally. It takes forever to kill him, so I'll demonstrate the power of the mighty up kick. Down kick there. Now you're going to want to have cues basically for every boss to know, because you'll notice that like setting up the up kick takes kind of forever. So you want to have cues for everything. My cue here is like an audio cue. Once the music stops, I'll be standing in this spot, and then I'll start my double tumble here, and that'll set me up for the kick. So music stops. That was a little slow, but it's fine. And then you just want to set up another attack. You can either do an up kick there, or you can do like the dragon punch if he's too far to the left. That's why I kill the bats, so they don't get in my way. Again, that was slow, so you can do that. Double up kick. So yeah, I was too far, or he was too far to the left because I hit him late. So if he's too far to the left, I'll just do like down punch. And I actually got 2 bomb drops there. Sometimes you'll get a bomb there, but the RNG manipulation at the start of the game should set you up with enough bombs to finish the game without any real problems, but for the most part, you should get a bomb drop throughout the rest of the run, so at least one. Because I use bombs in some other spot that other people might not, so. Alright, for 1-3, okay, so for 1-3, when the level starts, you can't actually move until like this worm is off the screen for the first time. You'll kind of see Hagane kind of like spaz out for a second. That means you can move. So when he does that, what you're gonna do here skips most of the level. So like the level goes all the way like to the right. And then you have to like climb up and basically zigzag back and forth throughout the stage. But the setup here actually skips going all the way to the right. So what you're gonna do here is gonna do 3 backflips. You're gonna turn around, do 3 backflips, and hold down, and basically take a damage boost. And that's gonna set you up for doing the worm skip. So do your 3 flips, jump immediately, and then do a full jump and hold down to do like a down kick, and then air tumble up here. And that skips going all the way to the right and then coming back. And then from here, you're just gonna climb. Just follow my movements. Go to the right. I think this is the first example of this, of grabbing the ceiling. So yeah, you can grab the ceilings. These platforms you can jump through. You can also use your green grapple here to grab ceilings. It's not necessary in this part, but it will be at a later stage. So yeah, you're gonna jump up, kill this guy, tumble, and then just slide to the left. Some of these stages are very short, so especially when you do a major skip like that. One 4 is just an auto scroller. There's not really much. I mean, you can die here very easily. I die here all the time, even though I've played this game more than enough to memorize it. So yeah, I'll just try to mention a few things here, like what I keep in mind. You want to try to kill everything, just because you never know if you're going to get a bomb drop, so. Alright. I guess I didn't save it there. Yeah, 1-4. The way I think about most of this stage is, like, you'll notice how there's basically like these like giant roof tiles, like where this I guess they don't all have it. So yeah, the key to this stage is really just memorize. Just play through it enough that you can memorize where stuff is, like where the floors are going to explode. So yeah, in this first part, it's the second and third roof tiles. 1, 2, or 2, 3. Gap here. And then I just hug the left wall here until the floor blows up behind me. Walk back, clear this gap, kill these guys, hug the left wall again until I kill the second guy up top. Jump this gap. And then here, the second 1, 2 tile blow up, and fourth. And then there's a huge gap. So what I do is I jump on the very edge of the left part, and I'll do a wall bounce from the right, and that allows me to clear this gap. And then once you're at the bottom here, you're going to wait for the explosion to happen behind you again. Come back, clear the gap, and then try to just make it to the left of the screen as fast as possible. So yeah, this is the first boss. This will show you where the real power of the up kick. And for this, I use visual cues again. Again, I can't show you like with my mouse cursor. Although maybe I can. No, that's gonna take too much. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and show you what I do for the setup here. So you'll notice these spikes at the top of like the samurai helmet. I'll pause right where I normally start to do the flip. So right here is where I do it. You'll notice like the pillars behind the spike, they have the lines on them. So once the spike on the left, or I guess both of them, hit that third line from the top, that's when I begin to do my flip for the first kick. Because you're gonna have to kick this guy twice. So yeah, that's when I start the first kick. So go ahead and start kicking, and then immediately after, I'll down kick, and then I'm gonna slide to the left at a specific position to set up for the second kick. And the cue I use is like you'll see the circles on. Maybe I can add like I'm gonna add a text source. Just call it O. O. I'm just gonna use this as like pointer since I can't use my mouse. So you'll notice these circles here. You want to slide between this one and like the shadow to the left. That's where you want to end your slide. It's going to be very quick. So you're going to down kick, slide to the left, and then start setting up your second up kick. And then that should hit him. And then at this point, I think he has like 1 HP, so any attack will kill him. But what I try to do is, if you get your positioning right on the second up kick, if you hold left for like a fraction of a second, it'll force him to he'll start moving to the right instead of he went left there. So he'll start moving to the right, and you can actually down kick him, and it saves a little bit of time. It's not a major thing, but it will save a tiny bit of time. So I'll try to demonstrate that here. So up kick, slide, second up kick, and then down kick him there. If I happen to miss that, I'll try to use a kunai because he'll usually be like all the way to the left. If he goes to the left, I'll try to kunai him. That way I don't have to like walk all the way to him. But if not, you can just sword him. Let's go ahead and start your up kick. Down, slide left, second kick. And then just sword him if you end up missing it. And that's your first boss. First major boss. Mash. Again, this is more like a timed level. You have to wait for the mini boss to spawn. And again, I'll be going over the visual cues here for that. You get a bit of lag here. And the cues for this, okay, so you want to keep an eye on the edge of his hat. It's going to be a pain in the ass to keep grabbing this. On the edge of his hat here. So yeah, you're going to keep an eye on that. And once that hits like the top of this rock in the background, that's when you want to start your up kick. And I developed a little bit of a strat here to make this fight a little bit faster. Right after the up kick connects, I'll use a bomb. And then after that, I drop down, and then I'll do like this single tumble kick like this, and that'll finish him off before he even starts to move. And with some of these bosses, depending on their height on the screen, it could take longer for them to die and like for the level to end. So if he's at the top of the screen, it's going to take longer than if he's at the bottom, obviously. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just demonstrate the strat for him. Up kick, bomb, and then tumble kick. And you should get like a 181 on the stage timer. Alright, the next two stages are, in my opinion, the hardest in the entire game. Because for this first one, your health is very important, and you're taking, I think, as much damage as possible. So you're going to end the stage with 1 health. And any extra hits is obviously going to waste time, so because you're going to have to stop and get health, or you're going to have to do like backup strats at the end. So I'll try and go over as much on this stage as possible, because it can be a pain in the ass. So at the very start here, you don't have control until Hagane like reaches like this point here. So once he walks there, I hold right for like a split second. I'll do like a quick right left, and I'll start back flipping, and you should make it through all of these like pillar things that are going up and down. Just fucking ridiculous. If you don't, then you're gonna have to stop and get like health a little bit later, or go a little bit out of your way to grab health. So yeah, this part is like one of the hardest, I think. it's very easy to mess up. So I'm gonna save once I get through there once, just so I don't have to keep doing this. So I made it all the way through. Here, you're gonna wanna fall to the right, and then once you pass this second block, you're gonna down kick. You're gonna go left and then down kick, so you don't hit that block. Because you'll see like these garbage blocks coming up. I don't know exactly what triggers them to start falling, but sometimes they'll fall really quickly and you can get up here fast. And other times you kind of have to like delay your jumps and stuff. So see here, I have to delay just to get up here. So it just kind of takes getting some used to and like reacting to how they're falling. Backflip, slide, air tumble. I'm trying to make it like on a good cycle so I can show you the ending properly. Alright, so we're at the top. Let me kill these things really fast. You'll see these conveyors like pushing me to the left. Obviously, it's going to be slower than if I was walking in the same direction. So you want to avoid spending time on these as much as possible. So I try to jump or do like an air tumble as much as I can when I'm facing one that's going the opposite direction. So just keep that in mind. So here I slide under. You have to kind of react to what that guy's doing. He doesn't do the same thing every time. So I'll try to like go over him and then bounce off that. And then here you could just jump up like this. If you take a hit at the start, you can grab this. And here's like a backup strat. You want to do like a full jump and bounce off that wall to make it up to this one so you can jump over. Like I said, I'm trying to go over as much things as possible. I guess like the more optimal way is going to be if you bounce off this guy, which is kind of tough because you'll notice I landed on that thing. But you want to land on the second one to the right. You could just slide under, bounce off, land here, jump over. Do an air tumble, grab here. Or do an air tumble and grab this. And then once you grab it, you want to down kick and do an air tumble and bounce off this guy. And like I said, you're taking a lot of damage in this stage, so keeping your health up is important. Grab, down kick. You should have enough iframes to get through this fire here and bounce off this guy. And then you're going to bounce off, go to the right, down kick, and again, another conveyor. If you're... Okay, so these platforms here, or like these like laser wall things, they're on a timer. I think on like the stage timer. So you want to get here as quick as possible just to avoid having to go through this section slower. So if you encounter two like this, you can kick through them like that. Or you can avoid them by jumping up here. If you have one, you can do a backflip through it. So just keep that in mind. That is a way, if you take damage early on, to avoid possibly dying here. And then another thing to mention at the end of the stage here is you're going to be backflipping through this section. Let me go ahead and get back there. You're going to be backflipping through the end, and you want to pay attention to the basically how you're landing at the very end. Here, slide through. Actually, I think you start back flipping. After the first one. Or no, you slide all the way through until the double, and then that's when you start back flipping. That's how it goes. So slide, you have 3 health, you're gonna take 2 damage here. Damage. And then you're gonna start flipping. So right here, you want to pay attention to how you land. If you land and your sprite is all the way against the wall, you can do 2 backflips and then just jump to the end of the stage, because this is the very end coming up. If you land and your sprite is a little more to the right, you can only do 1 backflip. So that's something to keep in mind, because I have killed myself here. So there, I landed all the way to the left on the wall. So I could do 2 backflips, but if your sprite goes out to the right, you can only do 1, because if you do the second one, you're going to fall in the lava and die. That's just a terrible way to end the run. And if you die, you lose basically your blue flames. So if I die here and respawn, you'll notice my health drops back down to 3. And if that happens at pretty much any point during the run, it's very hard to recover. There are blue flames, and there are some guaranteed blue flame drops, but it's gonna just make doing a lot of like the damage boost and stuff throughout the rest of the game very difficult. Because you're either gonna have to pick up extra health, or you're going to have to basically reset. Or risk dying. Head and finish this stage back off. Again, this stage is pretty hard as well. So here you're just gonna climb up. And at this spot, you can do a couple different things. There's like a risky strat where you just jump straight across like this. But you see that thing, that enemy that came down, if he comes down, he can very easily hit you. So what I tend to do is I'll just bounce off this left wall, and then I'll use the enemy and bounce off him to get to the right. So yeah, the start of this stage is pretty straightforward. I will give you a visual cue. I'm not sure if you can see it. Gonna actually move my notes over so I can make this bigger. Alright, so for this like mini boss, I used a specific visual cue. So I know when to do like this tumble kick, this single tumble kick for the quick kill. So let me see. Can I see it on this OBS? Alright, so when these platforms spawn, this bottom left one is gonna come out, and then when the top of it, there's like this gap in between, like this dark spot in between like these 2 silver spots here. Once the top of the platform reaches like the middle of that, that's when I'll start my tumble, and then I'll just kick, and it should hit twice and kill this guy. Go ahead and demonstrate that. So now I'm and boom, he's dead. Sometimes if you're too early, it'll only hit once, and then you'll have to just like kill him with your sword or something. So yeah. So wait, start, boom, kick him, and then you're continuing on. For this section, you can either do like what I would say is the normal way. So you're gonna just jump over these flames and make it over here. And I guess I'll go through this part too before I explain what I actually do. So you're gonna, this is basically just like a second climb. You're just gonna bounce off the stuff and then make it to the end here. This is the end of the stage. So what I did there was just like a very basic way of doing it. But what you can do is, this saves, I don't know how much time it saves, a couple seconds total. You can land on the very left edge of these like fire pillars, and slide through them. And that's what I do. That's more optimal. So like this. It can be kind of tricky at first, but once you get a feeling for it, it's not too bad. He says as he dies. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. But if you're starting out, I would suggest just jumping on the platforms. And then for this ending, I developed a little bit of a strat just to kind of speed it up a little bit. So what I do is I'll do an air tumble and I'll bounce off this guy on the right. And the way I set it up is I make sure when I do my air tumble, I'm very high up. That way I get a higher bounce. And I'll bounce up and I'll be able to bounce off this left wall. And it'll allow me to bounce up and land on this, this spinning platform here. Go ahead and make the save state. Air tumble, bounce off the left wall, and then I'll land up here. If you're not high enough, like if you're like, yeah, if you're just not high enough, it's just harder to land on that ledge because you're not gaining as much height off that first wall. So yeah, go ahead and do this. Bounce off. Bounce off here, bounce off this guy, bounce off that platform. And I think that may be the like most optimal way, at least so far that I've come across. I really didn't want to save there, but that's fine. Alright, so for this boss, I like to call this guy Fantoon because he's basically the RNG of the run, at least at the start. You can hit him here, but it actually doesn't do any damage. So for this fight, what I'll do is I'll hug the right wall, and I'll line... That's not what I want. I'll line my foot up with this. But it's not always going to be in this position, depending on how much the boss moves. So if he moves a little bit, I'll do a backflip to push myself further right to set up for the quick kill. But again, it also depends on what attack he does. So this boss, he has 1 of 4 attacks. And only one of them will actually open up his vulnerability a spot. So if he does it in the first phase, that's optimal. If his positioning is right. So he can do it. It's guaranteed to happen in the first 4 turns If he doesn't do it in the first one, then you're just going to have to continue to alter your position based on where he's at. So I'll go ahead and see what he does on the first turn here, just to kind of show. So he comes down, he's going to move left. He's moving very slowly, so I'll backflip to the right. So yeah, this is one of his attacks. Very hard to dodge. Another one. So it looks like he's giving me a bad pattern. Okay, so he gave me third. And the RNG is going to be the same every time, since I saved in this room. I think the RNG only moves like when an enemy is doing an attack, or like when an enemy's attack is on screen or something like that. So since I saved in this boss fight, he'll give me the same pattern every time. So he's gonna do that very slow brown ball rock thing. And if he goes to the left, obviously you're gonna set up. So once the cue for like when you're gonna start the double or the up kick is basically when he stops. So here he stops. Is that the same pattern? So that's again with the up kick. Once the up kick lands, that's when you're gonna want to bomb for the quick kill for this guy. So you're gonna do an up kick and immediately bomb once it connects. And then at that point he has maybe like 6 HP left. So if you hit him with like 3 swords, he should die. But if he's in the proper position, you can actually set up like this dragon punch, like this. So yeah, so it's just very position dependent on and what he's doing. Again, he's gonna do the rock attack. Go ahead and save after every phase. Purple attack. So up kick, bomb, and then just finish him off with your sword. Unless he's in a position that you can do a backflip away and then a dragon punch. If he doesn't if he's not vulnerable in the first phase, there is a chance that he can go directly in the center. And if that's the case, like you can't do anything to set up for an up kick. So just be aware of that. It can happen, and I don't want to say it happens often, but it does happen. So if that happens, you're just gonna have to do the sword attack first, and then hope that he gives you another vulnerability attack in a position that you can actually up kick. I'm actually gonna see if I'm gonna see if I could actually get the dragon punch on where he stops here. No, there's no way. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's very position dependent. Might have actually been able to get it there. But yeah, because I think it's because his attacks were like on the screen for varying times is why like his other phases were changing. This stage is pretty straightforward. If you happen to be down a bomb because you accidentally used one or something, there's a free one if you just slide to the left right here. It wastes a few seconds. So yeah, here you're just gonna drop down, slide, backflip. And then again, what I do here is I set up for one of those auto down kicks. So once I hit this Raiden guy on the right, that's where I'll jump and I'll set up for it. And then I'll bounce off this turret here and just bounce to the right. The end of this stage is actually kind of important. Well, it's not super important. It only saves a couple seconds, but I'll go ahead and explain it. So when you're falling down here, you want to have your kunai equipped. And you're going to throw 2 to hit this guy twice. And then finish him off with a dragon punch. And as soon as you come back from like the recoil, you're going to start a double kick to up kick this guy. So 2 kunai, set up the double kick. And then you're going to down kick just to decrease the time that you're in the air. And you're going to kunai the guy on the left as well. And then you're going to use this line here. That's where you want to line up for your dragon punch so that it hits twice. So I'm gonna save here. Go ahead and set that up. Do that. The very ending here is kind of important. You'll notice like I'm holding nothing and he walks all the way to the right. There's a way that you can get Hagane to fall a little bit earlier, saving a few seconds. So it requires a specific setup. Basically, once you land back from the recoil of that dragon punch, you're going to set up another dragon punch. Dragon punch, you're going to do the kick, and then you're going to do a double tumble. And you should, if you add like a very tiny amount of delay at the very end, like before the double flame kick, you'll actually fall even sooner than I fell there. So dragon punch, kick, add a tiny delay, and you'll fall straight down. This is actually another very difficult stage. Let me see. Platform skip. Okay, yeah. So, I'll just go ahead and get to the platform. So there's like a stage timer for cycles on these platforms, and you can skip a decent amount of the cycle if you kind of jump up to the left and just wall bounce up. One of the easiest ways is to waste a bomb there, but in some cases you can actually get through without using a bomb. And I'll try to show it here. So you're gonna slide here, kick this wall, and after you kick, you want to make sure you land on this pillar. Because you're gonna start backflipping, and if you land off and you start backflipping, you're gonna take a hit from one of the enemies. So make sure you land there, slide, do another kick here. And then once you land, you're gonna start going for this cycle skip. And you're gonna want to pay attention to like this flame turret here. If you see it going off or if it's about to start going off, you're gonna have to use a bomb. See there, I got hit. Or I guess you could wait. To get up here and then jump to the right. I think because of how the stage is set up right now, I'm not going to be able to get this skip, like, without using a bomb. Okay, there we go. So you can get through with or without using a bomb, depending on what the turret's doing. Kick this wall. Again, you're going to want to land on the pillar. That way you don't get hit by that beam. The conveyor belt, this conveyor belt is going to the left, so you want to try to avoid jumping on it or walking on it. Slide. That conveyor belt's moving to the right, so you want to slide on it to move a little bit faster. That's not. Flip, jump, slide, 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 kick. Again, you want to land on the pillar before you start flipping. Or no, I think on that one you don't want to land on the pillar. You want to land just to the right of it. Otherwise, you'll end up taking a hit there. Yeah, and then just down kick here. Again, conveyor. You want to avoid walking on them. And just make it to the mini boss here. Alright, so for this guy, what you want to do is you want to line your sprite up with, like, this pillar in the background to the right of it. Line yourself up like that. And then once this thing comes, there's two different setups. I think the first one for this has potential to fail. Where the second one I think is a little more lenient. So once the boss arm here, once you see the sprite coming down, you can start your flip. Or once it hits the very bottom. But I think if you do it when it's at the very top, it has a chance, like you have a chance of your sprite landing on top of it, and it could mess it up. So just keep that in mind. I think I usually do it immediately, so start the kick. I've never actually missed it like that. I think I went early. So up kick. Why am I not hitting? I think I was going too late. I've literally never had that happen before, where it just completely misses. I'll just wait till he hits the bottom, I guess. And then, okay, so once you hit it, you want to do the exact same thing for the other one. You want to have your sprite lined up here, and then set up your double kick. I'll just do it the second way. So use the very same setup, and then up kick that one. Now for the end here, you're going to see these drops on the left. Once they fall down, they'll do like a high bounce. And then once it lands the second time, you want to be on the very right of the screen to set up kind of like an early exit. I'll show you what that looks like. So wait, it hits the bottom, set up your double kick, slide, set up the second one, slide to the right, bounce, set up, then do like a flaming kick like that. So that's the cue that I use is once the sprite of the drops on the left hit the second time, I'll set up for that that fire spin kick. Then after that, you're on to the two most exciting stages. I really don't have to explain much about this one. This one, you just kill enemies. to get them off the screen and get drops. You want to make sure you kill these turret guys, these ones here, because they have I think they're the only enemies in the stage that can drop bombs. So you want to go ahead and kill those guys. I mean, you can pretty much kill everything, just to reduce sprites and maybe reduce lag a little bit. Yeah, just a boring auto-scroller. You can steal these guys like fucking magic carpets. I don't actually know what these are, but I'm gonna call them magic carpets. This one does have a little bit of explaining to go through. This is another auto-scroller though. So you want to hug the right. There's gonna be 6 enemies that spawn here on the right. And the ship in the background starts exploding. It creates a ton of lag. So you want to make sure there are no enemies. And you want to kill the enemies as fast as possible so that their explosion and their drop is not on the screen, just to kind of reduce lag. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just get as much crap off the screen as possible. Steal some magic carpets. Again, kill stuff, get drops. Hopefully get a bomb. I have 5 bombs now, which is actually really solid. There's gonna be like these yellow snakes that spawn. These guys. You want to try to kill these guys while like as far to the right as possible, because they have 4 drops. And they can drop bombs, so you want to try to kill them as far to the right as possible. That way you can try to get as many of their drops as possible on screen. It's very easy to miss their stuff. Steal some magic carpets, more snakes. And this stage actually ends. Alright, so I'm gonna save it here. For the very ending, you want to hug the right wall, otherwise you will waste time. Notice here, if I go all the way to the left, look at the stage timer. It goes down to 61. So yeah, it wastes 2 seconds, and if you hug the right, it ends at 63. So that's just like 2 free seconds. Onto the boss of this stage. What do my notes say? Rapidash. Yeah, basically you're just going to use your sword on this guy. You can't set up a dive kick because you're on this floating platform, so you're just going to use your sword. I don't think bombs are effective at all, just because of how much like lag they create. And depending on where he dies, if he dies at the top of the screen again, it takes longer for him to reach the bottom, obviously. And that just takes more time for the stage to end. So yeah, I'll go ahead and see what he does. He can like dash across the screen, in which case he's gonna waste time. He'll like dash left and right. So yeah, just sit in his face, hit him, and then once his second phase comes around, I'll just get inside of his sprite and attack him like that. I have ended the stage on like a 101, so it can be done a little bit faster. So yeah, first phase, just stay in his face. You're gonna take some damage, but you just gotta kind of be cautious and pay attention to what he's doing. Yeah, get in his face, mash him up, get inside of his sprite, and then hit it from the back. Hey. Yeah, and he was pretty low there, so that was a pretty good fight. Alright, for this stage, you start out sliding, and then once you get to where like this ninja jumps out, you want to start backflipping. Because if you're just like sliding, and then you start backflipping, there's a chance that that fireball will hit you. So if you start backflipping right under where he starts, then you'll get through there basically every time without getting hit. And then I slide throughout the majority of this stage. I just slide. Can't slide up hills, but you can slide down them. So you have to backflip up these and then continue to slide. The stage is pretty straightforward. So here, you want to line your sprite up with... God damn it. You want to line your sprite up with this tree. And then once the screen stops scrolling, that's when you want to start your setup for your up kick on the boss. So screen stops, start doing your setup, then you can just automatically up kick him, and then he'll take one more hit and he'll jump off. Or two. Here you want to start out sliding, jump down, and jump over and across. For this next part, you're going to be backflipping, and I start my backflip like once I'm right here on this rock, because there's going to be one of those jumping ninjas that jump out, and if you start backflipping here, you should avoid his fireballs that he throws out like that. Slide, drop down, backflip, slide, backflip. And here you want to have your grapple hook, because you're going to need it to get up. Go ahead and keep jumping or backflipping, jump up here. These platforms are actually on a stage timer. So you have a few seconds you can waste, but you want to make it here on this first cycle. And then once the timer reads 228, that's when you're able to actually jump and make it up to this ledge. 228, jump up, and just backflip. Sometimes those rocks can hit you. Not a big deal. And then just go to the left here, to the mini boss. Alright, so for this mini boss, you can either use an audio cue, which I think most people do, but I do like a flip setup that I use for a lot of different things. So here, once the screen stops moving, wait like a split second, and then you're gonna do this basic setup here. One charge flip, back flip twice, and then set up for your double kick. And this snake can come out of either any of the four corners, here, 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 or here. And so yeah, that setup will allow you to kick him no matter which corner he actually comes out of. So wait a split second, tumble, backflip, and then set it up. Or you can develop an audio cue. I don't know actually what the audio cue is. But I'm sure you can figure it out if you just mess around with it for a little bit. Start of the stage is pretty straightforward. Just come down, get on this minecart. You're going to be jumping up and attaching yourself with the grapple hook to the ceiling. And you can jump too early, so I'll just show you where you can jump. Basically, once the cart straightens out, you can jump. Or you can jump like once it hits like this angle here, still make it. So you're gonna jump up, grapple to the ceiling, go to the right here. And again, this is one of those stages where it goes all the way to the right, up, and zigzag all the way back and forth. So what we're doing here is a pretty major skip. We're going to be bouncing off an enemy, bouncing off the wall to the left, and then skipping like an entire section. This trick can be kind of finicky when you're starting out. I'll show you like this guy, he kind of just jumps off at you. And if you're close enough, you can kind of see him like skip. So see, once he reaches like right here, it's kind of like he skips forward a little bit. If you're in the correct position, like that's when you want to like move forward. So you want to be on the very edge, but you want to be close, or you want to be far enough to the left that you can move forward a tiny bit before he actually jumps off. So once he jumps off and you hit, and he kind of hits like that invisible like floor that pushes him, that's kind of when you want to try to bounce off of his head and bounce to the left. So he jumps off, forward, bounce off to the left, and get up here. I think you can actually, if you mess up, you can re-grab if you're quick enough. Oh yeah, that's what you do. You bounce off him again and just jump straight to the right. That way you don't have to land up here and jump across. And then here, once you're up here, it's another one of those auto down kicks that I set up for. Like you can just release and bounce off this guy wherever. I'm really bad at it, obviously. That's why I do the auto down kicks. I believe it's this pillar here, so it's, you want to jump on the fourth one, and you'll bounce off that guy, and then bounce off the left wall and go up to the right again, because the end of the stage is up to the right again. Third pillar, jump, auto kick, bounce up, just slide through all of this crap. Gap, so you jump it, and this gap is a little bit further, so you want to get a little bit higher of a jump, and that's the end. This boss is a pain in the ass. You'll see him flashing. If you're just starting out, once he stops flashing, that's when you want to start your up kick. And you can do this either to the left or to the right. I find it easier to do the left for me, so if you just position yourself like to the left of his sprite, he'll go to the left. So he stops flashing, set up the double kick. You can do it earlier to get an earlier kick. So I usually just wait like half a second or a second or so. Do it. Okay, I was too early there. Just to get an earlier kick. And then what I do after that is I go and I hug the left wall. And you'll see like these, I call them petals. He has like all these petals around him. Those are each like, they each have their own individual hitbox. And to get him to his next phase, you have to kill them all. So what I do here is I hug the left wall until the second, or I hug the left wall until they start coming at me, and then I dodge them. And then once the second to last one comes off, I bomb, and it'll kill all of them. And then I try to finish off the last one when it comes off with my sword. Dodge. Once this one comes off, hit them all with a bomb. Finish off this one. And once you hit it the final time, it'll start fluttering down. And I try to do that on the left side of the screen, because once I land, I'm going to try to set up for the double kick. This guy is kind of a pain in the ass because I feel like it's kind of hard to determine where and when he's going to start doing his attacks at this phase. So I'll try to set up my double kick like once I kill the final petal here. And then once you up kick him there, like all of this crap is going to come off and it's going to release like a green face. And that's like his final form. And if you do it here in the left corner, if you wait a second after you land again, you can just go ahead and set up straight for another up kick like this. And at that point, once that kick lands, he has about 6 HP left or something like that. And it should only take about 3 sword swings. So you just jump up and finish him off. And then once you see your score up here, once you see that, it should be like 80-something thousand. Once you see that jump up to like 100,000, that's when you know he's dead. And then, I don't know if it actually helps, but I try to go to the right so his sprite explosion is off screen. I don't know if it actually helps with lag. Let's go ahead and set up a double kick or up kick. Dodge all this, dodge all the petals till the second to last one comes off. Bomb them. Finish off the final one. You do not want this to happen because they come off in a cycle, and if it's the last one that reattaches, you have to basically wait for like the entire cycle again before you can finish them off. Set up the double kick or the up kick. See, this can happen. This happens all the time to me, where it's just like impossible to reset up the kick because you kind of messed up your movement a little bit. So yeah, he's dead. So that's an example of what can happen, like if you kind of mess up. Stage 5. Stage 5 has a lot of very short stages. For this entire section, this very beginning part, like you want to wait till the enemies are on the screen in case they drop a bomb. Because killing them faster doesn't actually do anything until the very last guy. That's the only person that matters when you actually kill them. So you'll see this guy, the spike guy, drop down to the left. You'll spawn 3 more guys after, and this is the last guy. Once you kill that last guy, you want to kill him as far to the right as possible. Luckily, he dropped a bomb there. But once you kill him, you're going to want to do like 4 backflips to reach the left side of the screen and then set up for a double kill or for an up kick, because there's going to be like this flying monster that comes down, and he's going to take like an up kick and then I think 2 sword slashes. So kill him, set up. And see there, I took damage. That's actually intended. Because if you just do an up kick and drop, I think you just fall straight down. But if you take damage, you won't have to jump up to sword him. You can actually sword him out of that damage that you took. So 1 spike guy here, spike ball, left, right, left, another spike guy, right, left, right, set up for this, take damage, and then just kind of mash sword and you should hit him twice. This is one of those guaranteed blue flame drops I was telling you about. That guy will always drop a blue flame there. You should be at 5 health by now, but if you're not, then that's good. Hug the right side. I think it makes the screen go faster if you actually walk into that. And then there's going to be like another kind of mini boss, the Doom Train, I call it. And the way I set up for this is I line my foot up with this here. There's like a part of the block that sticks down here. And then once the very edge of the screen touches this leftmost pillar, that's when I'll start my double kick. And then once you do your... Why do I keep saying... I keep saying double kick. It's an up kick. because you double tumble into it. So yeah, once you do your up kick, you're going to do a down kick, and that should finish him off. So do it, up kick, down kick, and then during this, like, I guess it's kind of like a cutscene. You can't actually do anything. So what I do here is I'll buffer a forward. I'll buffer a forward tumble, and then right out of that, I'll do a back tumble, and then I'll set up for a double kick, and that should set me up for the next guy that comes down. So forward, back, and it'll actually get me like a pretty optimal up kick on this guy. You can also, I'll go ahead and save a little bit later so I don't have to keep doing this part. There's also a visual cue. You can use like the spike on his head of the Doom train, like this spike. I don't remember because I stopped using it, but I think it's like once it hits like the very right part of this. Let me try that. I think you can set up for the up kick. Yeah, that works too. So you can use the visual cue, or you can do like a buffer, the buffer strat that I use. So buffer, up kick, down kick, and then depending on what he does here, you're either going to have to hit him twice to finish him off, or you're going to have to, or you can do a dragon punch depending on your basically your distance. So if he jumps over me here, I'll be able to dragon punch him. Otherwise, I'll just have to hit him twice, and he's dead. 5-2 is just, like, literally in my notes it says LOL. This is the silliest stage. See, normally you're supposed to go through, like, all these different rooms and stuff to, like, reach the end. But there's a very cool skip that essentially skips the entire stage, and it makes it very trivial. I'll make a save state here. And again, I have a setup for like an auto down kick because the enemies that come out of this door are random. So it can be a yellow guy or a white guy like this, or it can be one of these yellow guys. And they'll come out of the door differently. So it can be a little difficult if you're trying to set up for this skip here, which I just did. So I have another setup for like an auto, for one of the auto down kicks. And basically once you hit the very edge of this door here is when I'll do it. And it shouldn't matter which enemy comes out, it should allow me to bounce off of them. And then you're going to bounce off to the right and basically do an auto wall bounce. And the cue I use, I try to do it so my sprite is bouncing off the wall lined up with this, and it should bounce me up to this wall. And then bounce me up here. And then you just jump across, get up here, jump up here, and then here's the end of the stage. Very silly stage. Once you get that skip down at the start, that stage is very trivial. Unless you don't hold down. (5-3) is another very silly stage. So this guy only takes one up kick. And this is all you have to do. hit L, and then set up for it. But his movement is a little bit random. Occasionally he will like fly across the screen, or he'll stall and then go very fast. So what I'm debating doing is like, once you do the backflip, you can buffer the backflip. Once you do that, like wait a split second just in case he does the stall. Because I think if you do the stall like this, you can still hit the one where he starts moving immediately but moves slower. So it might be best to just kind of stall for a split second there. Just in case he does give you the bad pattern. And that's another one of the guaranteed blue flame drops. So this is a vertical climb stage. I don't think there's really much. There isn't much to say about this stage. You want to make sure you have your grenades equipped, because you want to grenade this guy coming up. You want to hit this guy so he doesn't shoot you as you're trying to ascend here. And then once you kill him, there's a couple things you can do there. You can do like an auto bounce off this wall, and it'll bounce you up here, and then you can just go right. This is that's what I used to do. I think I might start doing what Ohan was doing, which is jumping up like this and bouncing off like this little turret on the wall. But either one, they're both pretty similar time-wise. I think Ohan's might be a little bit faster, but that one's a little bit more consistent and easier to do, like the auto wall bounce. So yeah, jump up. There was a strat I was debating like doing in that room, but it involved wall jumps, which I haven't discussed yet. But yeah, it might be a little bit faster, but it's extremely hard. Yeah, just keep climbing. Pretty straightforward. By 5. Alright, so here I just want to mention the clip because I found a semi-consistent setup for it. There's a way to clip through walls. It's very dangerous because if you're in a wall for more than like a few frames, then you will die instantaneously. And it would be a really shitty way to end a run, like at the very end of it. But I will mention it. I'll try to do it really quickly, just to kind of show what it looks like. I have a video on my YouTube as well, kind of showing it. So I'll see if I can get it. See, that's what happens if you don't clip all the way through. You just die instantly. But I think this could potentially save a couple seconds. Then you do the same kind of clip thing. Because if you use a grapple while your back is facing a wall, you can actually kind of clip into it a bit. And you can do a wall jump. It's not really useful at any point right now. I'll try to get a wall jump just to show. You can read about them in like the task notes. So there, I got a wall jump. But you can also just clip like through walls with the grapple if your back is facing it like that. Kind of zips you forward a little bit. Again, not really useful unless you're doing this, and it can kind of like clip you to the top of this. But yeah, nobody really does that in runs. It's not, I don't want to say it's not viable, but it's just not really used right now. But I did want to show it off. So yeah, for the start of this, what I do is I'll drop down to the spikes and I'll bounce up to the space, jump across, and then jump up and over that that moving pillar. And then there's these spinning platforms here. Like you have to land on it to spin and then you'll drop through. You can actually, I haven't found a consistent setup, but you can clip through it, like if you do a down kick. I don't know exactly how it works, but you can clip through it. And it'll save maybe like half a second. I kind of want to just show it off. At least once. Usually if I do this, I'll get it, yes. So there I clip through it. Then you could just jump over. Can't do it consistently though, so. And then here, this like spike pillar thing will start coming up out of the floor. Over here. Once the top of it hits like this dark area, that's when you want to start like moving to the right. Again, pretty straightforward for this part. You just want to jump. You're going to land on the spikes for the first jump. And then after your second tumble, you're going to bounce off an enemy and try to land on platforms to the right. Again, health is kind of important on this stage. It's easy to take damage here. And it's easy to take extra damage. So there is potential to die towards the end. So yeah, just keep your health in mind. Go. You want to actually bounce off that guy. Continue to the right. And then here, you're gonna... This pillar on the right here. This pillar on the right here is actually a wall that you have to break through. So you're gonna want to jump into it. Not into it, but you're gonna jump and swing your sword twice and then set up one of the tumble kicks. Just to get through. That guy can actually kill you at the end. Alright. Here we come. Towards the end. Second to last boss. There's this boss and then there's the final boss. But this guy is another Phantoon. Phantoon-esque boss. Again, RNG on whether you can get the quick kill or not. And if you don't get the quick kill, it actually wastes a ton of time. There's several things to mention here. He has different attacks. He has like this blue flaming circle that he can do. He has an attack where he can like punch downward. And that's only during the first phase. And then like once you damage him enough, he can start doing other things like this lightning attack and then this like blue flame pillar thing. But hopefully you won't have to see those. But yeah, you can, based on your movement and based on RNG, there's a chance you can manipulate like whether he punches or not. So I'll go ahead and show, like, if you jump when he stops moving, see, I can manipulate the punches. But that's only if the RNG, like, if you get 3 punches like that, that's ideal because the punches take less time than if he does the fireball attack. But again, there's a lot of things to factor in here because based on his attacks, it's going to change the RNG. And so yeah, you may not get the correct pattern. So you'll see here, this little like node just came out of the bottom left. That's his vulnerability point. And that can happen, that can come out here, and come out to the right, or it can come out to the center. If it comes out to the left or right, depending on which direction he's moving, which side of the screen you're on, that'll allow you to set up for the quick kill. So because I was able to manipulate 3 punches and it came out to the left, I know that I'll get the quick kill, so I'll be able to showcase that. But there's a lot of things that just can go wrong here. So like I showed you, I can manipulate the punches. Oh, I didn't save. I might not get the same RNG. I'll try my best to hopefully get. I'll hope for the best. So if you just stand on his platform, he's gonna do the blue flame. And the way you can dodge it is just do a backflip and then walk forward if you're on the right. Backflip, walk forward. Backflip, walk forward. And see, the node came out at the top. If that happens, there's really not much you can do than just attack it. If you're standing on the left, you can just stand on the very left edge and the fireballs won't hit you. Let's see if I'm on the same RNG seed or not. So I'll try to manipulate the punches. Left. Okay, good. So yeah, you want to try to manipulate the punches if you can. Sometimes you can jump and he'll still do the blue flame attack. So it's kind of dependent on that, on like RNG. But the punches are going to be faster, so that's what you want to try and go for. And then the setup for the quick kill is I line myself up here with my left foot like on the edge of this. I'll just get the setup first. So manipulate the punches. Third attack, go all the way to the left. Because platform's going to move left and right. Once the left part of this blade, when it's going right, once it's above this pillar here, that's when I'll set up for my up kick. And this is going to be another one of those cases where you're going to do, or actually no, this one's different. So when you're tumbling, after your first glow here, once you land here, that's when you want to use your bomb. So I'm going to use my bomb once I land, and then up kick, and that should kill him. So manipulate the punches if you can. Line yourself up. bomb, up kick, and there he's dead. This guy can waste a ton of time if he gives you the wrong pattern, if you mess up a single motion. Like if your lineup is wrong, like the first time I did it, I think my positioning was slightly off. So I missed, or maybe my bomb was off. But either way, I messed something up and it just completely messed up the quick kill. Yeah, I might have been too far left there. Nope, that was still good. That's the ideal setup. Get 3 punches, line yourself up. Make sure you do your bomb after the first full tumble, and then just up kick to finish him off. That was essentially a perfect fight. That's pretty good to see in the tutorial. And then on to the final boss. For this guy, once the timer reaches 117, that's, I think, when you can jump up to the next platform, because the screen is locked right now. Here, once I'm on this platform, his vulnerability spot will be like within range of me to hit him with a grenade here, and that will stop him from hitting me with an attack. So I can jump across. So jump up, attack, and just kind of spam grenades. I use grenades here. You can use grenades or the sword, but I find the grenades are easier to hit. And their splash damage can kind of hit all of them a little bit easier as well, all the faces. Because you see these faces like they're all hitboxes that you have to kind of like take out. And with like the RNG manipulation at the start, you should have at least 1 bomb by the end here. So yeah, this is the entirety of the fight. Like, you have to keep chasing this guy up if you don't kill him fast enough. And then he has another set of faces here. And that can go on for a long time. Until the time runs out, obviously. But ideally, this is what you're going to end up doing. Up, attack, attack, spam, spam, spam. You don't have to kill them, you can bomb them. If you bomb them in the correct position, you can hit those faces and this one. So if you have only 1 bomb, you can kill them, or you can finish them off with the time being at about a 106 and under. I don't know if you can get, well, you probably can get over a 106, like maybe a 107 or 108. But that's ideally what you're going to do. If you have no bombs, you're just going to have to spam them with grenades or the sword or whatever you're attacking them with. Like so. But here I have 3 bombs, so I'm actually in a really good position. So I can probably use 2. Yeah, I missed some of the bottom faces. Get up here, make sure I can hit bottom set and the top set. And just finish them off like that, either with another bomb or just with grenades. That guy's pretty straightforward. You're not like glitching or up kicking or anything, so. And then that's the end of the game. Congratulations. So yeah, that's Hagane. If you're gonna do a speedrun, you have to let the credits play out. There will be an obvious reason why. I don't think I have my... Yeah, I don't have my OBS set up for it, but there's an obvious reason. So yeah, if you have any more questions about the run or anything, yeah, just let me know in the comments, or hit me up on Twitter, or follow my stream and hit that up. So yeah, get a time on the board. Next 3 people have a guaranteed top 10 time. So free top 10. You can say you're in the top 10 of the world of a speed run. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please pick this game up and start speedrunning. I know it's expensive, but if you have an SD to SNES, you know, I don't think anyone has any problems with accepting runs on that. Emulator should be fine as well. So yeah, check out the speedruns.com board. I will probably post this video there as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for picking up